Hello, bonjour. Welcome to a special edition of the Wheelhouse Cycling Podcast. You might notice I'm a little bit lonely in the studio. That is because it is the 112th edition of the Tour de France, and our European correspondent, Henk Vogels, where are you? It's summery, it's beautiful.
I am. Thank you, Luke and Kate. Oh, Merckxy. I don't know who Luke is. We're in the south of France, in a little town near Montpellier. It's been over here for a few days and it's stinking bloody hot, I can tell you. And not so much up at the Tour, but yeah, we're in South France. And we also have a special guest, Kate, with us.
I've noticed you have not turned up alone. Looks a little bit like it might be Kane Richards.
Welcome, Kano.
Thank you for having me.
No, it's a little impromptu catch-up, doing some riding down here in the south of France. Kane and Danny Di Francesco, they live in Girona, both professional cyclists racing over here this year. And in my little kind of couple of days window before the Tour de France, I said, how about you come over and come and do a couple of rides with me and a few friends. So he's rocked up on the hottest day of the year in France. Yesterday and the day before, where we were just about melting, riding bikes around, and may or may not had one or two beers and some cold rosé, but enjoying a few days.
Hey Kane, be honest, was Hank showing signs of being hungover on that Saturday morning?
He's got a lot of skills, Hank, and somehow being hungover is not one of them.
Well, there you go. Well, guys, it's beautiful daytime there for you. It's the middle of winter here, but it's not too miserable. I will say that. How are you going watching the Tour? Because we have to watch it overnight. It's like sleep deprivation time. It's a little bit nice to be able to watch it during the day. But are you watching it in English, watching the Aussies, or scrapping up on your French as you try and watch it in French?
Oh, we had some TV issues, but we've got the IT legend here next to us, and he's worked out how to Chromecast into Max, and then we actually were watching it in Spanish for a little while yesterday, and then we got on to the English television, which was fantastic to see the Tour yesterday and listen to it in English.
Well, you're going to be roadside soon. You'll be up with Velo Tours. Are you like riding alongside the Tour, watching a little bit, riding in the mountains?
I mean, with Velo Tours, we generally go to a few starts and a few finishes on tour where we don't follow the Tour. It's quite stressful. You got to park like 5K away and you're walking around with like a couple of 100,000, cycling fanatics. So that's quite draining. So most people that want to come to France, they want to ride the iconic climbs in the Alps and the Pyrenees. But it's great because we also do go to at least one or two mountain sides where you just park up with an esky and get to cheer the riders on. So and we generally like ride to the Galibier and stand on the side of the road there and get the full Tour experience. But most people just want to ride all the iconic climbs, be in France, in July. So and we do go to the start, and I generally go and have a chat with the DS or the Jayco and catch up, because there's an Aussie in just about every team now. So you go and have a chat with them. But that's kind of the program for Velo Tours when we're over here. So yeah, it's enjoyable. It's also quite tough, especially when you're not a climber. So.
Kane, you're a Queenslander, right?
I am. Gold Coast.
Yeah. Does that mean you'll be looking for somewhere to watch Origin on Wednesday night?
I will be finding somewhere. There's a little bit of a feud with my family. So my parents are both from Sydney, and I'm one of four, and so the four of us are Queensland. So it's always us versus mum and dad.
Same with our house, mate.
Yeah, that sounds familiar. And you guys, I don't know if you can see Merckxy, but he's currently wearing a Maroons T-shirt, so he's kind of heckling me in the lead-in. Guys, we've had one stage, and talking about it can all be a little bit stressful. Talk about a super stressful stage one. The Aussies, it was good, it was bad, it was everything in between for the Aussie cohort. But talking about good Queenslanders, Kaden Groves, instrumental in getting his teammate Jasper Philipsen a win and his first yellow jersey and 10th stage win. What are your thoughts on that all coming together pretty perfectly for Alpecin Decuninck?
I couldn't believe it. And I mean, also, you just got to remember, you got to make your own luck sometimes in cycling. Like, there was a lot of people that lost a lot of time yesterday, but you noticed that Alpecin Decuninck literally had 4 guys in that move in the final, and all great bike handlers, all the lead-out men. They were all there when Jonas Vingegaard decided he was going to shake things up. But his ride, holding it up, in that crash with Ben O'Connor, I mean, Caden's brakes worked really well, didn't they? Whereas Ben's didn't, which was very unlucky.
Having a word to the mechanic.
He'll be having a word. You reckon he's going to have a word to the mechanic?
Have a word to the mechanic.
But, I mean, I don't know if you saw the footage, and I'm sure everyone in Australia has already seen the highlights of him, like, doing an endo over Ben O'Connor. And that was very close to the finish. And they've been riding full gas for the last, 16 to 18 kilometres. For him to be out the back, pin it through the corner, get round to the front, just slot straight in to that lead out, was unbelievable. So, I mean, it was almost shades of Robbie McEwen winning his Tour de France stage where, he crashed or punched. I can't remember whether he crashed or punched it really close to the finish, literally rode around the bunch and won the bunch sprint in the Tour de France. So it was some shades of Robbie there. So, but what a powerful lead out they've got. And to tell you the truth, it's not going to be their last one based on how well they did it yesterday. We've got a lot of flat stages all the way until stage 10. So to see how well they executed that yesterday was pretty bloody impressive from the Gimpy boy. And that team just looks as though they're on fire.
It was pretty bloody impressive. You mentioned Ben O'Connor. He went down like a sack of potatoes. If you look at the stage result, he's 5 minutes 20 down, but actually on GC, he's up in the front because it happened in the last 5K. So while he kept his spot on GC, didn't lose time, geez, he's got to be sore after that. Like, team director said, he's a little bit bruised, could have been better. Kane, if you're riding a long tour and you go down like that on stage 1, how are you feeling ahead of stage 2?
You're normally a little bit sad too with it, but it's strange. Sometimes the faster you crash, the less it actually hurts. You normally slide more, so he did go down pretty hard. So it'll be about how he wakes up today and how he feels, but hopefully the team look after him. But yeah, it's an early one to be on the floor already. So it's not, and I don't know how Ben will handle he doesn't. I don't know Ben very well, but I don't know if he'd be the type of guy to handle like little curveballs being thrown at him.
What do you mean, mate? He seems as cool as a cucumber.
Oh.
We love
but with Ben, Kate, I think the worst thing about having those crashes where you don't do a collarbone and that sounds, and thank God that didn't happen, is that it's just the showering and the changing the dressing when you've got 20 more days of the tour. It's just uncomfortable, but he should be fine, and it's part of cycling. And
sticking to the bed sheets.
It wouldn't surprise me if 50 guys are going to go down.
Yeah, gosh, and poor Filippo Gunner, he tried to get back in the race, but it just wasn't meant to be for him. Of the Aussies, a little bit surprising. So we've got 10 Aussies out there. Michael Storer, on paper, you think, geez, he had a rough start because he lost 5.5 minutes. But before the show started, you seemed a bit excited for Michael Storer to already be down on GC. Talk us through that.
Kano, what were you saying about Storer? He's your pick for what?
KOM jersey. He was my KOM pick.
He's Kano's KOM pick. There you go. So, and that's how you're going to win it, because Storer's actually a GC rider, isn't he? He can win in the mountains. He can run top 10 and run into a sneaky break that might, take 10 minutes. So for him, like we talked a little bit about Ben O'Connor in the last couple of podcasts, Kate, if he's already off GC, they're just going to let him roll, and you can just pick up points every day. So you might see a more active Michael Storer, who goes very, very well uphill and is super strong for them. So I don't think he'll be too disappointed. I don't think he had aspirations of everyone goes into the Tour de France who can climb is, almost sneaky chance for overall. But no, I like Kane's thinking. Getting up the road and just starting to accumulate points for Michael isn't a bad thing. And you know what? We're only after stage 1 now. We're going to see a lot more damage in the next week because we don't really see a huge mountain until day 10.
Well, we might need Kane's help for predictions because, Kane, I don't know if Henk's told you this, but our Giro picks were absolute rubbish. we got it all really wrong. They kept falling off. So if you can help support us, Michael Storer for KOM, I really like that. Really interesting, I thought, was Remco Evenepoel losing 39 seconds. But he said, we kind of got caught unawares. How does it happen that Visma Lease Bike planned that in the wind, not just didn't get caught unawares, but actually were able to plan it for a rider like Evenepoel and his team to get caught out? That just seems like a massive brain fart.
Well, I'm just actually quite shocked because Visma Lease Bike said that Jonas wanted to do it. And it was very unlike Jonas to want to smash it. Wout wasn't there. Yes, you had Matteo Jorgensen there, who just looks as though he's in sensational form.
But they rode good position. They rode very attentive all day. And so did Alpecin. Alpecin, they were riding the front. They controlled the race.
Yeah. I mean, he instigated. And what surprises me is that Remco's team, that's their thing. That should have been their strength. And for them to lose 40 seconds, that hurts. So he's going to try and look to claw back, and I think they'll be way more attentive. But I was watching an interview with Mathieu Van der Poel yesterday afternoon, and he said, listen, the bunch kind of was worried about crosswinds, and they did smash it a few times in the crosswind. But then with 20K to go, everyone thought, she's a bunchy now, and, just relaxed, took the foot off the gas for a second, and then Jonas went, let's go again. And for me, Kate, I think, and I'm sure you're agreeing, that when you're a pure climber and you think, hey, I'm feeling pretty bloody good now with 17 or 18K to go, and I'm going to be the one to rip it. I reckon he's got some good form, where it really makes, changes my idea that, he should just hide until we go up big mountains. He's like, no, I've got form. So, yeah, I think it's game on.
Yeah, I think so too.
Taking that cheeky KOM too.
Yeah, you never know. I reckon stage 5, the first time trial, 33K, pretty flat. That'll be really interesting to see how cousin Jonas goes. And Kane, I call him cousin Jonas because my family did one of those, DNA heritage things, and turns out we've got a heap of Danish in our family that we never knew about. So we just refer to Vingegaard as cousin Jonas. Just before you think that's really weird. I didn't know Kate Bates was related to Jonas Vingegaard. And anyway, now you understand. It's an interesting tour ahead if you look that, like you mentioned, the hard stages, the real mountains don't start until stage 10. So in theory, you could kind of ride into fitness a little bit. As long as you don't lose too much time early on, by week 3. When we sat down to watch it last night, I said to Merckxy, with Podgy, he could either dominate by so much or he could be a little bit off colour and show us that he is actually human and can't win every classic and nearly win Paris-Roubaix and then go on to win the Tour de France. I feel like I'm the only person on the planet who's doubting his ability to romp this tour in. What do you guys reckon?
Well, I just think he's superhuman. This year, we've just seen no crack in any of his armour. And
he's just been more armour.
It's just, where's it coming from? The armour. No, he really does look untouchable. But you got to remember that, he has other ambitions. He did the classics. He's turned up at every race. He's won everything he started minus 3 races. He's unbelievable at the moment. But there's other riders, like Remco and the owners who are just here for July and only want to be good for those 4 weeks. So, you know, I can't see him losing the Tour, but I think it's going to be a lot closer. And that's my kind of prediction. I think it's going to be a lot closer this year at the Tour de France between those two. I still don't think Remco's kind of there yet, well, in my opinion.
Yeah, you know what I reckon isn't going to be close is the competition for the best/worst haircut. Did you notice Quinn Simmons with his Stars and Stripes jersey? That looked pretty cool. But did you notice the orange, like, curly mullet and moustache and beard? What is going on?
What did you say yesterday?
I said he's an American Shane Archibald.
Oh, yes. The flying mullet. He kind of is like that. But in the day of aero, you know, like aero gloves and everything, like, isn't it kind of taking the mickey a little bit to then have flowing locks and the facial hair?
No, the Yanks, mate. They like trying to do things a little differently, don't they? But
it's working. Man, he did his fair share of pulling the front yesterday, though.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll give him that.
Has anyone helped him? Or
no, it's not real aero, is it? When we're talking about marginal gains in these wheels and that wheel's there, and anyway, you're going to be parachute coming off the back of your bloody head with a mullet. So, but apparently he's a super strong rider, and if he's at the Tour with Trek, then, you know, obviously that's going to be his job this week. Because if you're the first guy from your team as a director to be, you're on the front, you know what his role is going to be. So he's in the role of domestique for Trek this week.
Yeah, that's right.
But what?
The commentators last night were talking a lot about Martinez, who had a really tough day and finished at the very back, nearly 20 minutes down, just in front of the broom wagon. What's it like to finish day one? Like, how do you look ahead with 20 more stages when it starts like that?
Finishing 20 minutes down, he's a GC rider. I'm for sure something happened the night before and he was probably up all night spewing his pipe out. Like, seriously, it must have been. There's no way just follow the wheel. Yes, there were some like hard crosswind sections, but he must have been sick the night before and said, no, I'm starting, I don't care, I'll just hold on. Anyway, that's another guy who's now off GC, and if he gets through the first week, because when you get gastro or something like that, you have a shocking hours and then you bounce back actually quite well. So it wouldn't surprise me, hey, listen, he might lose a bit more time today in the stage. But, you know, he might come good in the third week. So poor bastards, like, obviously just being Crooker's real good and then gone at a worst day of his life. But, you know, I didn't like how they were just talking about him on TV yesterday a little bit.
That was long ago he was beating one of USAP climbs in, like, he's got form. Like, you can't lose that kind of form that quickly. So there had to be something. Wrong.
Because they would have taken him out of the Tour because you can chuck someone in, but I think, there would have been poor blokes, serious difficulty. But he's a very, very good bike rider. I'm sure he's going to bounce back, but obviously out of GC.
Yeah, it certainly comes from very good pedigree. You know what else is going on at the moment, which is ridiculous, but don't start me, is the Women's Giro d'Italia starts today. It's 8 stages now. RCS are organising it again. Guys, Sarah Gigante she's in really good form. She's looking pretty good. She was top 10 in the Women's Tour de France last year. It'd be pretty cool to see an Aussie up there on the podium. Neve Bradbury was in third last year. Aside from the terrible timing of the race going up against the Men's Tour de France for eyeballs, we've got 10 Aussies out there again this year.
I can't believe they put it on the Tour de France. Like, cycling people want to watch cycling, you know, and obviously your point there, Kate, putting the Giro on at the same time, you know, the most exciting event of the year is deplorable once again by the UCI. There you go, the UCI gets a comment every every podcast,
episode, yeah.
But certainly always look forward to seeing Sarah Gigante go uphill. She's a prodigy. She's going on, and I think she looks great this year. And I think all Aussies want to sit down and watch that. 8 stages. Did you say 8 stages, Kate?
Yeah, 8 stages. And actually, it starts with the team's time trial. Oh, this is actually good to ask you, Kane. I hate teams' time trials in tours. We've had disagreement in this studio many times about it because the guys love it. What do you think about a team's time trial?
I like them.
Oh.
Yeah, I think it just adds another aspect to it. So, and I think it's a good way to, especially with the women's tour, and my personal opinion on the women's tour is like they're always striving for better and striving to more outreach. And I think there's no reason why you couldn't add a few more days to the tour without making it harder. And putting something in like a team time trial is a good way to have an extra day, but you're not adding too much. Like, they're obviously hard. Like, time trials aren't easy. It's only, say, if it's like the first men's time trials, it's a 30K day, but it's 30K on your limit. So, and a team time trial is the same. It's hard, but it's a good way to add another day, another aspect to the race without making it too much harder.
And it showcases the team too, and how well organised, and that formation in a team time trial. You get your television time as well. It's something. I think it's a beautiful event. I mean,
there was a few teams that got it really wrong though at the Vuelta for the women's. I think there was 2. It was Visma and another team. They missed the start.
That's not a good one.
Yeah, no, there was a few, like from the start. I think 2 of the girls from Visma were running up the stairs, jumping on their bikes, and missed the start of the team time trial. And then I don't know if it was GSM had one girl miss the start as well. There was two teams miss the start.
Good TV though when they're running up and over there. And then you can see the clock ticking down. They're like, go.
Yeah.
Because I remember Pedro Delgado missing that in Tour de France in the 80s. He was off riding somewhere and completely stuck up his name, leading in the yellow jersey. And so, so is that actually on television at the moment, Kate? The Giro, or we're not going to see that in Australia?
Oh, I think we'll struggle to see it. SBS have always had some highlights that have gone to air, but, well, this year actually there's been a little bit of a blow-up on social media here, guys, because, the SBS Tour Tracker, which is categorically the best app, the best way to watch and catch up on the Tour de France, it's gone. I don't know where it's gone. I was desperately trying to find it last night on my mobile. Couldn't. The internet's up in arms about it. So I don't know. If the Tour Tracker's gone, I'm not confident we'll be able to find the Giro in Australia, but the world will have it somewhere. We might just have to put on a VPN.
Yeah, it's not on SBS. It's not on TV in Australia. SBS don't have the rights.
Rubbish. Kane, your darling fiance, we're not seeing her, Danny Di Francesco. She won't be at the Giro, but she's riding for Arkea. Any chance we're going to see her riding a lap of France a little bit later in the month?
We hope so. At the moment, she's not on the first team that's been picked, but it's still a little while away. And she's riding well. Form's getting better. She's had quite a long recovery back from being sick over the last 18 months. So it's really good to see her back training. And she's at the Tour of Portugal at the moment and having a good week. So it's the last stage today, so she'll fly back home tonight. And hopefully, with like a good ride there that she's done, she'll put herself back in the mix to hopefully be picked. So at the moment, it's not a yes, but it's not a no.
I'm crossing my fingers for her. We've got 10 ladies in the Giro. We could have even more doing the Tour de France. Brodie Chapman is another Aussie name that's coming up, and Tiff Cromwell with all of her gravel as well. In the men's, we see such a big crossover between the disciplines. I mean, look at, Matthew Van Der Poel is such the prominent example. But Tiff Cromwell, with all the gravel riding she's been doing, her skills are so good. That's got to serve her well coming up into the women's Giro, even from a leadership point of view. Like, she's so comfortable getting through the bunch and finding her way and helping the rest of her team with what they need.
I think she's always been a really good bike handler, but I agree with you, Kate. When you're doing gravel, like, you know, when there's bitumen underneath your wheels, it's a lot more grippy, isn't it? When you just spend hours and hours on gravel, I think you do actually get better skills. I've noticed that just in a little bit of gravel riding I'm doing. But, I mean, she's she's been in this campaign so long. You know, she's got so much experience. So she'd be a fantastic teammate to have on any team. And I don't know her age, but it feels like she's just been around forever, Tiff, and obviously super active with the gravel stuff. So.
It's Kate and Henk and I decided on last week's podcast that the UCI should bring in like a minimum skills standard. Like you need to get your skills license before they'll let you race World Tour. I don't know. I really like the idea. So, and I reckon through the tour, there'll be a couple of riders that we can probably highlight for skills school.
Add to the list. Add to the list of going to training, UCI training camp.
Yeah. Oh,
in
I
their
love it.
defense, though, one of the scariest. I was talking to Henk about this yesterday. One of the scariest races I ever did was when I raced Cadello and it rained, and the amount of near misses and things that you don't see, and the skills that like the majority of that group has. Like you see obviously see the crashes and they get highlighted pretty well, but there's so many near misses.
Kane, talking of near misses, what about the debacle at the KOM where Benjamin Thomas, well, look, he walked away with the KOM jersey at the end of the day, but also he's going to have a pretty sore bum from landing on those cobbles.
I feel worse for, I forget his name, who he was with. But, like, imagine that. He's sprinting for a KOM and then the guy's just all of a sudden underneath you. But, yeah, he's a quality rider, but, yeah, I don't know how you do that one. That was dumb.
It's a full-hearted move.
He was trying really hard. He was putting a lot of effort into that throw. I think he should have just sprinted earlier.
There was cobble. That was an actual cobble climb, wasn't it?
It was cobbled at the top, but it looked like more clinkers.
Yeah, like
a nice cobble. But
yeah, how does that happen, Hank?
Did he actually win it, or did he get beaten?
Yeah, he won it. He
won it.
won it. So now he's got the KOM jersey.
Oh, my God.
I think it's easy actually for Henk and I, Kane. Like we've been retired for long enough now that it's easy for us to kind of sit and pass judgment and say, oh, come on, that was a bit rough. But I think it just goes to show how many stressful moments there are. And you were talking about that, like how hard it is to even pay attention for every minute of every stage.
When you're not in that situation all the time, like, and you're riding and you're doing 60, 70k an hour on a false flat downhill and you're bumping shoulders and things. And like to start with, you're very nervous, you're very tense, you're not a fan. But then it's almost like getting calibrated in a way. Like you go from like in a bunch at 30 to 40, like you're comfortable, and you get faster and faster, and then eventually you're at the bunch in 70 and you're just comfortable, and it's not, but you do drop your guard a little bit. And I think that's where you do have the silly accidents, because you just get so comfortable and you forget how fast you're going. You don't forget, you always know, but you don't have like as much respect for it. You sort of you're very relaxed, and that's where silly mistakes happen. But that wasn't a silly mistake though. That going for the line like that, like, can't say I've ever done it myself.
No, please don't. All right, guys, it is summer. It is beautiful weather over there. You need to go and ride your bike so I can see is that your factor in the background, Hank?
Yes, it is. Thanks for just dropping that last bit in there, Kate.
You're saying yesterday it was hot and you couldn't wait to get your new budgie smugglers out. Have you had a swim yet?
Not yet this morning.
Yeah, there they are. Jesus, they're small. Wow. Yeah, send us a pic for socials.
Oh, my good Lord.
Got a few fans.
Merckxy comes in with a good to see you can come in.
You always will.
Straight into
all right, before you go, what are you most excited about for the tour ahead?
I'm excited for the battle. Obviously, as everyone else in the world is, but for me, I love watching the mountains. I mean, everyone likes watching the battle royale of the mountains with the big two, but I do love watching the last 5K, all these fun sprints that that used to be my thing. So, and how about you, Ken?
I haven't voiced this opinion yet, but I'm hoping deep down Jumbo Visma are playing the really long game, and Jonas has got it in him, and it. Like, did he just not hold the wheel at the Dauphiné because he wanted to make Fogs think he's got more in the more on him? And but, like, are they playing the super long game? That would be huge curveball. But
yeah, I like it.
I'd like to see a good battle. Like it gets to the point when if he's winning by 10, 12 minutes or whatever, like he did that year, it does sort of get a bit.
It's not good for anyone.
It's not good for watching, but when it's a close battle, it's awesome. Like it's unreal to watch. So.
And how about you, Kate?
Well, I mean, I'm with Kane. Like I reckon that cousin Jonas might have a little bit more in him. But what I'm hoping actually is that Roglic throws away his GC ambitions and loses a bit of time, so they let him go for some stage wins, because I'd love to, like, I just think that Primoz and the Tour are just not friends at all, but I'd love to see him.
There's another battle, the Remco-Primoz battle.
Yeah, I mean,
Remco-Primoz.
It's
I like that.
And I also reckon, and this might come back to bite me in the butt, but that's okay, I reckon Remco is just off colour. I don't reckon he's going to have a good one. So if that bites me in the bum, so be it, but I don't think that on stage one I just expected him to not get caught out. Maybe I'm being harsh.
He always has a 10-minute day.
Remco. He always has a 10-minute.
He always has a 10-minute day. There's always one day where Remco just shuts off.
Yeah.
Oh, and the green jersey battle is going to be epic. Gourmet came second overnight.
Oh.
Well, do you want my pick for
yes, of course
today's stage?
That's why the people pay the big bucks.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for it. But anyway, Jamais, it's quite a hard final today with 3 or 4 3s and 4s. It's an uphill finish. I know that Jamais has been Vanderpool a few times, but I'm going to go for Jamais today.
Well, it'd be good to see him notch a few more. He's got 3 in his belt from last year, but I reckon he can get another one. You're right, it's a hard finish, so we'll see how that goes. Guys.
Just really quickly, what did you think? Oh, you didn't see Caleb. Caleb was asking questions for SBS.
I saw him on Instagram. That was pretty funny.
I saw on Instagram. That was about it.
They had him on there.
Oh, you wish him well, don't you? Yeah. I think he knows everyone.
Yeah.
He's mates with everyone in that whole crew, so... and he's got some inside information, so maybe it'll turn out really good for SBS.
Yeah. Friend of the show, Caleb Ewan, we'll get him in.
It's, the Secret Pro is back on Escape Collective, so I'm tuning into that. I'm really curious as to who they've got this time, and I love trying to pick who it might be. Have you seen that yet?
No.
Oh, yeah.
It's a mole inside the peloton.
Yeah, so they've got somebody feeding them some inside goss from in the World Tour peloton and writing columns for Escape Collective. So you'll have to get all over that, and then we can discuss who we think it might be.
Got to follow Kane on Instagram because he's doing 21 days, 21 picks on every day.
Days prediction. Every day we're going to try and pick the day's winner.
Ooh.
Not off to a good start. But
that's okay.
I have 20 more days to go.
20 more days to try and even the ledger out.
Yeah.
Excellent.
All
right. I'll tune into that. All right, guys. We'll have a wonderful day riding your bikes in southern France in the sunshine. And we'll go and put our puffer jackets on here in winter. But thank you for joining us.
Kane, throw up a shot of Henk in his budgies on your Insta. You'll get some followers then, let me tell you.
Oh, we'll do that. We'll do that. If we hit a certain amount of followers only.
Yeah, good.
Good. I'll get the budgies on. No problem.
Yeah, comment below on the video if you want to see Henk in his budgies. I can't believe I said that.
What's the number?
We don't want to see Henk's TikTok, Kane.
Oh, my God.
I don't have a TikTok. Kane has a TikTok.
Oh, boy. All right, well, on that note,
music's playing.
See you guys. Have a good one.
We're out of here. We're going riding. You guys just go and keep warm.
Ciao. Bonjour.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.
Au revoir tout le monde. Vive la France.
Vive la France.